Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are finally going to replace my tire on the Yamaha Tmax. This is really going to be one of the last large things to do on it, and I probably should not have been riding with it the way it is, but we just got to get this tire on. And this is what I got. This is a Shinko 160 60/15 that I'll be putting on the bike. So let's get started. This is the reason I haven't been riding the Tmax. I mean, look at this. I mean, just looking at this makes me even wonder why I was riding with it. Never ever ride with a tire like this. That is just so insane. So if you look at the other pieces of the tire, it's less cracked, but there's got cracks all throughout. Right here, it's okay. I mean, it's not great. But this is obviously where the bike rested on and it deflated, so it's unusable. So what we're doing is removing this and putting on a new tire. That's obviously a pinch bolt, and then it's got a hex over here that we're gonna have to loosen. This 12mm. Okay, so that's the pinch bolt. Left side of the Tmax, you have obviously this cover. You're gonna have to remove these two screws. Impact wrench, we'll get it out. This one, hopefully. There we go. I'm glad that, oh boy, this is like a rat's nest. Now that you have exposed this side, you're gonna put a 19mm here, and then you're gonna come to the other side and loosen that bolt, or this hex is a 17mm. So let's get that in here, put it in there. In order to loosen this, of course, you're just gonna have to hold on to one while you move this. But it should be fairly easy. So now just remove this nut, 19mm. As well, clean all this rust. I mean, this thing has just got so much rust everywhere. And now you're just gonna push this axle right through, and at the same time you wanna hang on to the wheel as it'll drop down. Kind of hold the wheel, hold this axle out. Look for lubrication. It's not lubricated at all, so that's something we're gonna have to do is re-grease this. Take this out from the wheel. What we're gonna have to do on this bike, just to remove the wheel, is remove the brake caliper. These two bolts, they are 17mm. Hopefully we can bring the caliper up and then remove the tire. These two bolts, they are 17mm. Hopefully we can bring the caliper up and then remove the tire. 17mm, you might need a breaker. Or not. There we go. Another 17 here. There we go. The good thing about this, you can put it here. I want to inspect the brakes. Brakes still good, but you'll need brakes pretty soon. And there we go. So this spline is where the wheel will go in, and then there's a spacer. Make sure you re-grease this and inspect it. Put the new tire underneath to cushion it. Put this on top, and now we're gonna have to remove the valve stem. You don't have to, you can just let the air out. Need this in the beginning, but I like to just put like a little bit of soapy water. When you change a tire manually in the winter, it's a lot harder. The rubber is harder. And this one, because it's been sitting out and it's so old, it's incredibly hard. So we might have a little bit of an issue changing this tire. Cram it in there. And then what I like to do is you just get some of that soapy water and try to get it into the bead itself. Coming off on one side, I'm just taking the tire levers. Yeah, this one does not want to go. It's so hard. See, it's kind of, I've never had that happen on a a tire. They just usually would pop down. It's a very difficult just to get to this point, and it has everything to do with how stiff and hard this tire is. I kept popping it out of the bead, and it kept just popping back in. Both sides. It's just, they did that. And now I have to remove it from this side. So hopefully this will be a little easier. I finally got it out. A few more scratches on the rim, but that's fine. Tire is in, same sort of technique. It takes time, but I'm going to now put the shredder valve onto this. Here, 2 pops. That's 1, that's 2. To all the other stuff, remove the old grease. It's not scored, and it's not. It's in fairly good shape. I don't think this bike was really ridden that much. And I'm going to apply a little more grease to this. So tighten this to the appropriate torque. There we go. And then, so I just finished putting the rear tire, and I also changed the rear drive oil. And by the way, it uses up quite a bit of oil, more than the ST1300 in any other bike that I've ever had. The new tire, I usually do 100 miles break-in. I remember riding through here on the Honda Big Ruckus, and I hated that bike. Still breaking in that tire, but it goes around corners really easily. And the best thing about this particular bike is that when you let go of the throttle, even if you wanted to slow down just a little bit, you could slow down. Like, it will slow down mid-corner, and it's not going to upset the suspension too much. So right here, I'm not using brakes, and I'm simply just letting go of the throttle and then kind of squirting out of it. I'm not doing full throttle yet. Got to break in that tire. So here's an annoying thing about scooters and some motorcycles, but mostly scooters in general. There's no place to easily mount a GPS. Bald eagle. Look at this. Bald eagle. Oh my God. A bald eagle. It was eating that deer. The tires are breaking in nicely, so I had to remove the rear tire. And check this out. You have to undo this bolt, and that's a given. I understand. You might ask, why did they mold this so it looks like the bolt is there? But why not just have a cap that you can pull out instead of this? It would make it easier instead of having to remove these 2 screws. This bike was meant to give a hard time to any home mechanic. No doubt about it. It's like one of the hardest scooters to work on. And I know, I got a bike that's been a little neglected. You can see all of these screws have rust on them. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. 99% of you are not subscribed. And I will see you on the next ride. Thanks for watching.